Okay, so in this module, we're going to be talking about what makes successful people successful. No matter whether it is training in the gym, dropping 20 pounds, adding 20 pounds of muscle, adding 20 pounds to your bench press, it doesn't matter. The characteristics are the same. The things that are put in place are the same. We're going to talk about them. All right, so number one is a goal. Obviously, this is common sense, right? You need to know what you're shooting for. Whether it is, hitting the gym 5 days a week, or whether it is dropping 20 pounds, or whether it is adding 10 pounds of muscle, or whether it is keeping your diet dialed in, or no matter what it is, you need to know what you're doing, right? So the goal is number one. Obviously, we know that. But there's plenty of people that work out without a goal. There's plenty of people that train and they eat right without a goal. If you're doing that, you're taking shots in the dark. You're not really shooting for a specific target, all right, which is not bad, but if you want to get the most out of your day and the most out of your workouts and the most out of your life, you need to know exactly what you're shooting for, all right? Number two is your why. Now, what do I mean by that? The why is the reason why you are doing it. Obviously, you're doing, most of the time when it comes to working out, you're doing it for yourself, but you got to think of it a little bit deeper here. A good example of a why, and I always come back to this one because it is a prime example, is I had this guy come into the gym a little while ago. He's a firefighter, a local firefighter in town. And he told me that he needed to get in shape. And I said, well, why do you need to get in shape? Why do you got to drop all this weight? And his reason was the epitome of what a why should be, all right? It needs to be emotionally attached. It needs to be something that's really deep. Saying you just want to get a six-pack is not necessarily a good reason. If you want to get a six-pack because you've been depressed and have had no confidence in your life, then that's different, all right? You're doing it to better yourself, to boost your confidence because you don't like the way you feel. Going back to this firefighter, he told me his reason why was because in the case of a fire, people's lives are in his hands, and if he cannot perform, then it's a problem. I mean, it's basically, literally, life and death when it comes to his why, right? So if he can't perform, somebody could die, whether it's him or somebody else. That's pretty serious. That's a major why. So you have to make sure your why is dialed in, all right? It has to be good. It has to be deep. We get plenty of guys that come into the gym and they say, I need to get in shape. And while they were maybe 20 or 22 at one time and they wanted to get in shape to get girls, now their why is, you know what, I got to keep up with my kids. I can't throw the ball around with my kids. I can't run around outside with my kids and throw the football around because I get out of breath. And they don't feel like they're being the best dad that they can to their kids because they have to tell their kids, well, I'm too tired to play. So that is a good why. Figure out what your reason why is and the rest will be easy. The cool thing about having a major why is that all the shallow whys actually happen by default. So if you want to drop body fat and get in shape and put everything into working out and getting your nutrition right because you want to be in better shape for your kids, there's a good chance you're going to get lean enough to get that six-pack. You know what I mean? So the shallow whys happen anyway. Find that deep, that real core meaning and that real core reason of why you want to accomplish what you want to accomplish, and the rest will happen naturally. Number three, we need a deadline. A goal and a why without a deadline is a waste. You might as well not even have a goal or a why. The reason behind the deadline is it puts the pressure on. Think about when you were in college or in high school and you had to write a paper, and I know this was me. I always waited to the last minute. And every time I wrote papers at the last minute, I would get better grades because the pressure was on. I had to perform. I had to get it in. When I had more time and I took my time to write the papers, they weren't as good, right? So you have to put the pressure on. Set a date, all right? I also did this in the past with a bodybuilding contest. I said, you know what, I want to get in shape, I want to get lean. I entered a bodybuilding contest. I hung that sucker, that entry form on my fridge. The date was in big black letters. It was right in front of me, staring me in the face every time I wanted to get some ice cream. So set a deadline. And once you set a deadline, tell everybody you know that you're going to do this thing by this deadline. I'm going to lose 25 pounds in 3 months. Whatever it is, I'm going to lose whatever. You make up the goal, you figure out the why, and then you set the date. Number 4, you have to get used to progress. Most people think in terms of perfection. They need a perfect time. They need a perfect workout. They need a perfect diet. The reality is perfection does not exist. And if you are waiting for the perfect time, or the perfect workout, or the perfect diet, you're going to be waiting an awfully long time. So the key here is to note progress. It may take you a year to get to where you want to be, but as long as you're taking steps forward, progress is progress. Baby steps are still steps forward. You have to keep in mind that you're either taking steps forward or you're taking steps back. And if you are standing still and not making progress either way, whether you're moving forward or moving back, I consider that moving backwards because you're not doing anything to get to your goals, to reach your goals. So you have to think in terms of progress, not perfection. All right? Get rid of that word perfection. The perfect time doesn't exist. Life will always get in the way. Your schedule will always be crazy. You will always be stressed. You will always be tired. But you have to get done what you have to get done. All right? That is the bottom line. Progress, not perfection. Number 5, you have to be disciplined. There's a big difference between discipline and motivation. So obviously when people start a new journey in the gym or eating right, they want to know how they can stay motivated. How do I stay on track? How do I stay motivated? They ask me, Chris, how do you stay motivated? I don't stay motivated. There are plenty of days where I come to the gym and I'm here for 10, 12, 14, 16 hours a day, and I don't feel like working out. It's the last thing I feel like doing. And I'm around the weights all day. But I make myself work out. I'm disciplined enough to make myself work out. So motivation comes and goes. Discipline is constantly there. You have to make sure you are disciplined enough to do what is necessary whether we want to or not. Remember in the first module, beasts do what is necessary whether they want to or not. They do what is required of them to reach the goals that they set out to do. They don't cry about it. They don't complain about it. They just do. Whether people see them do it or they do it behind closed doors, it doesn't matter. Discipline is key. Stay disciplined. Motivation's going to go. What are you going to do when you're not motivated? What are you going to do when somebody's not there to give you a pat on the back and say good job? You have to be okay with doing that to yourself. All right, so discipline, not motivation. Number 6, consistency. The characteristic of consistency is a big one. All right, most people think in terms of all or nothing, 100%, right? 100% intensity in the gym, 100% intensity on my diet. I'm not going to cheat. And all of a sudden what happens when people cheat or they hit a cheat meal, they go off the deep end and they cheat for a week, and then they justify in their head why they did that. The important part is with consistency is that you are consistent over time. Obviously, there's going to be peaks and valleys. Obviously, there's going to be ups and downs, okay? It's not going to be a straight up shot, right? You're not going to go straight to the moon. You're not going to go straight to the top of the mountain. It's not going to happen, all right? You're going to make a few steps forward. Maybe you miss a workout. Maybe you screw up on your diet, but then you get back on track. And then you're consistent again, and you're going up the mountain again. You know, and you hit that workout for a few days or for a few weeks, and all of a sudden you come back down and you miss a workout, or maybe it's not a good workout, maybe you're too tired. You know, so you have to understand, it's not going to be perfect, right? But we're looking for consistent, disciplined progress. Okay, consistent progress. One way I like to look at this, if I could show you guys, is if you take the days of the week, right? You have to chalk up the days of the week to either a win or a loss. All right? So let's say Monday. Monday comes around. You work out on Monday. You're good on your diet. You're proud of yourself. You're doing great. You're doing awesome. You give yourself a plus, a W, right? A win for the day. Tuesday, you fall off the wagon. You go out to eat with some clients. Maybe you go out to eat with some coworkers. You know, you have some drinks. Not necessarily the best day. You actually skipped your workout to go out to dinner. You get a minus that day. Let's say Wednesday, you woke up, You did your 5-minute primer workout. You did your affirmation in the morning. You're ready to go. You had a great day at work. You hit all your goals at work. And then you actually worked out, stuck to your diet. That's a big plus, a big W. Thursday, same thing. Still following the morning routine. You get to work, you crush your goals, you hit another killer workout, stick to your diet. That's another plus. Friday, you go out for a couple drinks, maybe you go out to dinner with your wife or your girlfriend, it's a date night, you fall off a little bit, have a little ice cream, whatever it is, you get a minus. All right, it's a loss. Saturday, you wake up in the morning, you're hungover, you miss the gym. You don't eat in the morning, you don't eat breakfast, you're not eating what you're supposed to. You skip the meal plan for the day, you're not staying hydrated, you get a minus. Let's say Sunday, you say, you know what, screw this. You wake up, you go to the supermarket, you get your meals for your food, you get your food for your meals, get a quick conditioning workout in, you feel great, you're back on track for the next week, you get a plus. Now what you see here is we see 4 pluses, 1, 2, 3, 4, that's 4 W's, 4 wins. There's 3 minuses, 1, 2, 3. The key here is you got more pluses than minuses, which means you are consistently getting better. The key is consistency over time. Consistency over time wins over short bursts of intensity all the time. Never fails. The key here is, the most important part here is over the course of the week you have more pluses than minuses. So if you have 6 pluses and 1 minus, that's a killer week. If you have 5 pluses and 2 minuses, that's a pretty good week. What you don't want to happen is have 2 pluses and 5 minuses, or 1 plus and 6 minuses, because that is when you start to slip. Consistency over time wins. All right? Number 7, and the last success principle, is what I call CSW. Now, I'm guilty of having a hard time doing this, and I know a lot of guys have a hard time doing this. CSW stands for celebrating small wins. You have to celebrate your wins. You have to look back sometimes and see how far you've come. When I first opened the gym, it took a few years for the wheels to get spinning, for the place to get moving, business-wise, and I was always so focused on what was ahead. And it wasn't until my wife stopped me and said, hey, Chris, you got to look at how far you've come. Because I kept saying, well, what about this milestone? What about this milestone? I got to reach this, I got to reach that. But she said, did you see where you started from? You started from literally nothing, no money. You started with no equipment. You started with no clients. Look how far you've come. You have to do that occasionally. You have to celebrate the small wins. It puts things in perspective. Gets your mind right when you get to setting new goals and setting bigger wins for yourself. Remember, this is just as important as the rest of these. Right? These here, these first 6, the first 6 have you looking ahead. Right? First 6 have you looking ahead. This one you're looking in the rear view, just to put things in perspective, to see what kind of person you were and what kind of beast you are now. You have to understand this is important. Don't forget to celebrate the small wins, guys. If you take these 7 things and implement them in your daily life, in your weekly routine, over the course of the month, you're going to be an animal, whether it's in the gym or setting personal goals for yourself or setting business goals or relationship goals or whatever it is. But remember, it all starts with these 7 things. And I guarantee you, if you apply these 7 things to the gym and to the iron and to working out and eating better and feeling better and being more confident, everything else in your life is going to fall into place. I promise you that, because it did for me. Lifting weights, getting stronger, getting in better shape, eating better changed my life. Made me do a 180. I'm a different beast, different animal than what I was when I was in my teens and early 20s. No doubt. So that's all I got for this module, guys. The next module, check it out down below. And I'll see you guys over there.